my good brother, we will have a cup of tea. I agree. Later. Again, on the subject of the diaspora remittance, I agree with you that we are collecting close to 400 billion shillings every year from our diaspora remittances. We need to channel those resources properly. I have, on the 3rd of December, I will be hosting a diaspora conference with people from the US, Europe, Asia, to have a candid discussion on this subject of diaspora remittances, because they too are concerned about how they can input into the development of our country. Jacob Okambo, Chairman, and Bernard Saiji, they have talked about the whole border industry. They have asked me whether I have come with some border things. They've seen me doing things elsewhere, whether I have come with some wheelbarrows or I don't know, I've come with something. I want to tell Bernard and Jacob that I have come. Yeah, I have come. Maybe I may not do everything that you want me to do, but I am here. I am here. So, and I agree with the border industry that the credit facilities they are getting are punitive. You know, a border that is being sold, as he said, for 145,000. If you buy it on credit, within a year, you end up paying almost 300,000, also almost double what you are meant to pay. That is what I am speaking to when I talk about bottom-up. These are the enterprises that require alternative sources of financing. They need to get alternative sources of credit. It is the same thing Mary Acheng was saying, that they have no way of borrowing money. Huyu Masai ni nani there's a Masai guy. Kuna Masai hapo sijui anakopesha watu pesa. And I'm sure that Masai guy is a Shylock. So, and you know, a Shylock, when he lends you money, you pay between 5 and 10% per day. And there is no business. It doesn't matter what business you're doing. And that's the thing I've been speaking to, that we have predatory lenders who are destroying enterprises, because anybody charging 5% or 10%, or even the Fuliza that is charging 6% per day, those are predatory lenders. You can never do any business as long as you have those kind of lenders. And that is what is destroying the whole micro and small enterprise industry. And of course, the challenges of lending and that kind of thing. My good friend Ayim has spoken very well about how we can privatize extension services. I quite agree that if we have a problem with measuring, you know, what government is doing in terms of industry, in terms of extension service, we can privatize and we can pay the professionals on the basis of how many farmers they have served and the output they have made by serving those farmers. So I quite agree that we need to have a discussion between the county, the national government, so that we can come up with the right policy that will streamline and give us the best way of how to deal with it. Caroline Odera talked to us about the huge potential we have in the lake here. People should not be going from Kisumu to Mombasa, we should actually develop the lake infrastructure for tourism, including to have a proper beach here, proper hotel services, and a better use of the lake as a tourist facility than we currently are doing. And I agree with you that there is a lot of potential in that space. And I agree also with her that investment must not necessarily be from foreigners. You know, we can get the local people and arrange finance for them to invest in improving the facilities around here. There is the whole problem of demolitions, which is an evil thing. You know, that government wakes up one morning and brings down people's businesses. I mean, it can never be right that a whole industry is brought down without people being given some alternative. I mean, it's the duty of government, if you are in a certain facility, they should be able to provide resources for you to relocate to another place. Not that to wake up one morning and come and bring down your business. You have children, you have workers whom you pay. It cannot just be one morning they are jobless, you're destitute, and it is supposed to be okay. It is not okay, right? It is not okay, you know. And we have said that there must be law on how to relocate people going into the future. It must be structured in law. It cannot be the person who can hire the policeman is the person who will demolish your dwelling. There must be law. Finally, we have had a discussion on Mr. Felix Minda of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce has talked about the tax regime. It is true, you know, we have a problem with the taxes in Kenya. And it is we have even a bigger problem in the way we treat our taxpayers. It is not right that a taxpayer, you send a contingent of police to go and harass a taxpayer. It is not right. In fact, I saw one judge, I don't know whether anybody saw here, one judge about 2 weeks ago or a week ago said KRA must not kill taxpayers, because if they engage in killing taxpayers, they themselves will die, because they will kill everybody, and then finally there will be no tax paid. So the strategy, though, on how to make tax and the tax regime non-punitive is to engage in an exercise that expands the number of taxpayers. The problem with our current tax regime is that there are too few people who are paying tax. The majority are not paying tax, and it is not their fault. It's because either they are not working, they have no business, so they cannot pay nothing. And it is our duty to get as many people as possible working and as many people as possible doing business by making sure that they have a place to do business, by making sure that there is the correct plan on what to do, and lastly, by making sure that there is credit for them to grow their businesses so that we can grow more taxpayers and then be able to lower taxes. I see my competitors, they are talking about lowering taxes without thinking of how to grow the tax base. You cannot lower taxes because there is no free lunch. You have to, if you are lowering taxes, somebody else must pay it. So we must first expand the tax base, get more people to pay tax so that the few who are paying high taxes, we can reduce the taxes. I just thought I should respond to the issues that you have raised here. Okebe, the good farmer, Mr. Sylvester, has spoken to our hearts. He says the brokers went away with their ochele, and they have never been seen. That's what he said, right? And the pests and birds ate the balance. So, and they are still using oxen, you know. I know for sure that we have a 2 billion facility for mechanization, which we can tap into. It is delayed because of useless bureaucracy in government. And I want to tell Okebe that we have a deficit of close to 600 metric tons of rice we import. Surely we can grow that rice locally. The same way Mary Ochieng said, we are importing potatoes and tomatoes from Uganda. We are importing, I don't know, something else from Tanzania, when we can grow it. Actually, if you look at the total import of food items to Kenya, is actually 180 billion Kenya shillings every year. That 180 billion shilling gap is actually a market our farmers can grow into. We should be able to facilitate our farmers to grow that 180 billion worth of food that we are currently importing. And I want to say that the region that has the highest potential, I want you to listen to me, the region that has the highest potential of growing what we are importing at the moment is Western and Nyanza. That is the region that has the highest potential of importing the oil crops, the chile, sugar, that whole space. This region can actually be the region that can grow for us what we can use to close the gap of imports of close to 180 billion Kenya shillings. Finally, John Ochieng, my good friend, speaking on behalf of people who are able differently, has spoken very well about inclusion, and I agree with him that inclusion is a serious challenge. We must continuously assess our performance when it comes to including people with disability in the whole space of taking the country forward. This morning, for example, we made a decision that all the people who are running for whatever office in UDA, any person with disability running in UDA will run for free. There will be no nomination fees. I'm sure we will be pushing the bounds. We will be pushing the boundaries to make sure that people with disability, they are included in the management of our country. We will continue to have that discussion, my good friend Ochieng. I know you have asked me to make a sponsorship of your engagement on behalf of people with disability in Tanzania. And I have told my office to organize so that we can sponsor you. I have been told it's going to cost around 150,000. I will ask Mwasera there to arrange 150,000 so that we give it to Mr. Ochieng. He can go and attend the conference and give us some feedback, right? So, I think I just thought I should respond to those issues before I finally make my final statement. And my final statement is as follows. I have told you that governance and politics and management of the country is too important to be left to politicians alone. Every patriotic citizen must step forward, to participate, because it is our country, and whatever happens affects all of us. Are we together? I have 3 things that I want to speak to you about. I want to first speak to this bottom-up economic model. I know many people are, my competitors especially, they are struggling with this bottom-up thing because they are not used to us having an economic discussion. But we have forced them. The people of Kenya have forced the politicians to engage on matters economy. It is no longer enough to have a discussion about which position and which place and the usual theatrics of politics. Politicians today and my competitors today have been forced, each one of them, to have a discussion on the economy. And I am a very proud Kenyan that we are having a conversation about the economy of our nation. One of my competitors is talking about uchumi maradufu. That's very good. Another competitor of mine is talking about giving people some handouts. That's very good. Another competitor of mine is speaking about some other story. So long as we are discussing the economy, let us continue with the discussion. Tuendelee. Si namna hiyo? Tunaelewana? So, what is bottom up? I want you to listen to me very carefully because we are having a discussion of our lifetime. When we took over with President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013, I want to give you a bit of background. We decided that we are going to build politics on a different platform, and we are going to have a new foundation. And the foundation was non-ethnic, non-regional. We must avoid hate, ethnicity, and division, right? So in our first term, we decided that we are going to do the railway. We did 700 kilometers of the railway. We decided that we are going to do roads infrastructure. We have done so far 10,000 kilometers of tarmac, new tarmac in Kenya. We decided that we are going to roll out generation and distribution of electricity. I am very happy to say that today we have raised the number of households connected to electricity from 2 million to 8.5 million today. And particularly in Kisumu, the number of people connected to electricity in 2013 was 42,000. 42,000 people connected to electricity in 2013. Today, we have 242,000 people connected to electricity in Kisumu. Are we together? Yes. Kisumu hii. 2013, watu walikuwa na stima, walikuwa watu 42,000. Leo tumefikisha watu 242,000 connected to electricity. We have connected 200,000 more people to electricity in Kisumu than were collected in 50 years. Are we together? The facts are very stubborn. They never lie, right? So you can go check the statistics. Number 3, we decided also that we were going to expand and re-engineer education. That's why you have 100% transition. You have the free secondary, which has challenges, but we are streamlining it. And we also said we must move our education more to Tibet. Today, when we took over, we had 2 technical colleges in Kisumu. Today we have 5. We have built one in Nyakach, we have built one in Nyando, and we have built one in one of the other constituencies, Seme, here in Seme. We have built 3 new technical training colleges in this Kisumu. We had Riyadh and we had Kisumu National Polytechnic. Those were the 2 that were there. And we have built 180 new technical training colleges in the whole country because we want to re-engineer education. Are we together? So, in our second term, we had decided that we have laid the foundation and we now need to grow enterprise, create jobs, and expand farming. That's why we came up with the Big 4 plan. The Big 4 plan had 3 major issues. Number 1 was to create jobs using our housing, value addition, agro-processing, manufacturing plan. Expand and invest in farming on our food security pillar, and also deal with matters of health on our universal health coverage pillar. As you all know, that plan has not gone as well as we wanted because we got busy. Tulipata kazi mingi ya BBI na rege na nini, sasa hapo ikaendelea. So, no, that's the truth. So tulipata, wakati tulikuwa wengi, unajua tulikuwa na marafiki sasa walikuwa wengi. Wakakuja wakasema hii priority ya mambo ya kazi ngoja ingoje, hii priority ingine ya mambo ya kilimo wacha ingoje, hii priority ingine ya universal health coverage wacha ingoje, wacha kwanza tutengeneze katiba. So tukaenda kutengeneza katiba. And I want to tell you, standing here, that BBI thing was the most fraudulent, deceitful agenda ever carried out again in the name of changing the constitution. Ukora. No, I'm telling you the truth. Yani ukora ile ya mwisho. You know, unajua Kenya hii ni mzuri tuambiane ukweli. Lazima tuambiane ukweli. Hii kitu ya BBI ilikuwa ni ukora mtupu. Because while the public wanaambiwa unajua tunapitisha BBI ndio tuongeze pesa ya kwenda kwa county. Surely you don't need to change the constitution to get more money to go to the counties. The constitution says not less than 15,000. What? Not less than 15%. What other English do you need? If it says not less than 15%, it means you can do even 100% of the money to go to the country. Why do you have to bother the country to change the constitution? It's a lot of nonsense. Ama namna gani, my friends? Haya. You know? Isijui help loans. It will help loans. You don't need to change the law. You don't need to change the constitution. You don't need to change the regulation. With a simple letter, barua tu na signature hapo chini. Help loan can be changed to a grant. You don't have to change the constitution. So anybody telling you that we change the constitution so that help can become a grant is a con man. You know, ni ukora. You know, ni ukora. You know, it's good to be tuambiane ukweli. Hiyo ni utapeli. Mbona hatutaki kusema ukweli? The real issue with BBI, which nobody wants to tell the country, and even the people who are proposers of this BBI, they are ashamed of it. They wanted to change the constitution to install an imperial presidency. Listen to me. They wanted to install an imperial presidency. And then you ask yourself, so why did we fight Moi all the years? Why did we fight the old constitution that had an imperial president? Why? Because, let me ask you, if you say you want to give the president power to appoint members of parliament as ministers, right? You want to give the president power to appoint an ombudsman to go and supervise the judiciary. What have you said? You have said the president now has power over the executive. The president has power over the legislature because he can manipulate the legislature using the ministers and he can appoint 50, 100 of them. And the president has power over the judiciary because he can use the ombudsman to manage the judiciary and whatever decisions they want to make. See, we have installed an imperial president. Did any Kenyan here say tuongeze powers ya president? Mnanielewa? So this is fraud. And none of these people are telling us. That's why when I tried to tell them in Bomas, wakanipigia makelele. Oh, sijui kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja? Yes. This is it. Why don't we want to tell each other the truth? Hii deceit ya siasa ya Kenya. For how long are we going to have this thing? Mbona tusiambiane ukweli? Tunaelewana? So, and the even more dangerous thing in BBI was being changed against the Constitution, unconstitutionally. The moment you allow changing the Constitution unconstitutionally, you have licensed impunity in Kenya. It means the next person with power, influence, and money can come and change the Constitution the way they want. We cannot have a country like that. That is too dangerous for us as a nation. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Because ukisema kwa sababu kuna uwezo na pesa na influence, unapitisha kwa county assembly, unapitisha everywhere, lakini Mungu anapenda Kenya sana. I'm telling you. Because walipitisha everywhere, lakini iliishia kwa null and void. Hiyo story yote iliishia pale kwa null and void. Walikuwa wanatuimbia hapa, oh, nobody can stop reggae. Oh, nobody can stop reggae. Reggae. Sasa reggae zilikwama. No, hapana. You know, let me tell you guys, we can disagree on anything, but we must tell each other the truth. Tunaelewana? So, hiyo sarakasi yote wasted 4 years of our time. 4 years were wasted in a useless engagement, a fraudulent exercise. You know, they need to omba msamaha. You know, this wasted our time, they wasted money on an exercise that was clearly fraudulent and did not have the interests of the people at heart. And that's why ilivunjika. Tunaelewana? So, we had planned under the Big Four agenda. Number one, to make sure that we deal with the most present challenge in Kenya. And the most present challenge in Kenya is unemployment. That is why we had housing, manufacturing, agro-processing, value addition in the Big Four. And that's what I am saying. God willing, next year, the first agenda, the first priority, the first budget, we will commit, as we had planned in the Big Four, we will commit the first 100 billion Kenya shillings in programs and projects that will create jobs for our young people. Tunaelewana? Tunaelewana? Na mtu asiwadanganye ati hii ni maneno. No, it is possible, right? So, and I dare say, anybody who tells us today that the priority is to change the constitution so that we can create the position of prime minister, deputy prime minister, assistant prime minister, vice prime minister, I don't know what. Na hiyo zingine. For leaders like myself. And yet, millions of our own children we have taken to school. They have certificates, they have degrees, they have diplomas, are languishing. Many of them, they have gotten into drugs. Many of them have gotten into crime. Many of them are into depression. And then you want to tell me, in that circumstance, the priority is to create jobs for leaders. It is stupidity. Ujinga. No, honestly, ujinga. Unawezaje kusema ati priority in this scenario where we have 4 million young people, our children, we have taken them to school, we have paid their school fees, they have certificates, diplomas, and degrees, and you want to tell me it is not a priority to sort out their issues, that it is a priority to go and change the constitution so that we can create positions for ourselves as leaders? That is stupidity. It cannot be anything else. Sijui kama tunaelewana, my friends. Na hii ujinga lazima tuondoe kwa Kenya. Hii ujinga hii lazima tuondoe kwa Kenya. Tunaelewana? We must get rid of this thing, my friends. Sawa? So, tuwaambie that it's not possible. It's not possible how? Si tumejenga 10,000 kilometers of the road, tarmac. Si tumejenga reli 700 kilometers. Si tumeunganisha stima imefika watu milioni 8. What is so difficult about making sure that these young people have a job or are engaged meaningfully? And when I say have a job, I don't mean just have a pay slip. I mean everybody has an income. They are working somewhere and they are earning something. And they can stand for themselves and they can fend for their families and they can put food on the table for their families. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Tunaelewana? Number 2, na ndio tunasema bottom up. Bottom inaanza na hawa vijana hawa wenye hawana kazi hawa. Tunaelewana? Why do we need so much security to do anything? Why do we need all this security? It's because these guys have nothing to do. We must get them something to do. It is not their fault. It is not their fault that they are jobless. It is because there is nowhere to work. It is our duty to create the space and the projects and the programs to engage them in work. Tunaelewana, my friends? And this thing has no tribe. The same way you have so many young people here is the same way you have so many people in Eldoret. It's the same way you have so many people in Kisumu, in Nairobi, in Nyeri, in Mombasa. It's everywhere. So nobody should tell you it is this community versus that community. It is not. Sawa sawa. Number 2, we must create the environment. And many of you have spoken to it. We must create the environment for us to do business. 80% of business is carried out in the micro, small, and medium enterprise. Hiyo micro, small, and medium enterprise ni mambo mingi, lakini micro ni hii mama mboga tu, huyu Mary Ochieng alikuwa anasema hapa. Hiyo ndio micro. 1, we must create the space for them to do business. If it is a market, it must be properly done. If it is so that we can create the environment, and we are talking about the environment in general. If it is a market for the traders, it will be equipment for the fishermen, it will be the cold rooms, it will be the meals for Mr. Okebe and his team. Make sure they have correct storage, make sure they have the correct milling, so that we create an environment for them to thrive. Number two, we must have the law to protect everybody's business so that other people's businesses are not criminalized. And number three, which is most important, we must create the financial ecosystem for these people to access credit that is affordable. Leo, mnasikia Mama Achieng anasema, akienda kukopa pesa, inamshinda kulipa. Kwa sababu gani? Ule Masai analipisha 10% per day. Kama angepata mahali ya kukopa at 5% per year, she would do her business very well. Sawa sawa. Huyu mtu yangu ya bodaboda hapa anasema pikipiki yenye is supposed to go 145, he ends up paying 290 because of the credit facility he is getting. Tunaelewana? So we must make it possible. And this is what I am saying. I want you to listen to me carefully. I am saying the same way we have CDF. Si mnajua CDF? Mnaelewa CDF? Ile ya kujenga shule na kulipa mambo ya basari. Next year, apart from CDF, 150 million ya kujenga mashule na kulipa basari. Next year, tunaweka another 150 million kila constituency, kila mwaka ya kusupport hizi enterprises ya mama mboga na hawa watu wengine hawa wote. Local enterprises. Nyinyi mnanielewa? It is not free money, but it is credit that will assist these people access money at 2, 3, 4, 5% per year, which they can use to grow their businesses. Huyu mtu wa bodaboda, kama pikipiki ni 145,000, he must not pay more than 160, even if he is getting it on credit per year. Tunaelewana? So instead of us charging him all the way to 280, that 280 is almost 130,000 shillings that will be credited to his account. Nyinyi mnanielewa? So, and we need to make, mtu asiwadanganye. Unajua, hii story yote, watu kwa sababu hawataki kusema ukweli, wanakuja na Kiingereza mingi and make the problem look so difficult. These problems are very simple. We can sort them out simply. Mtu asiwaambia ati you need rocket science, nini. Hapana, we will sort them out. There are very simple issues that we need to do to sort out our country. Tunaelewana? And number three, we must invest in agriculture. Like Mzee Sylvester said there, we must put money in agriculture, we must put money in seeds, we must put money in a dam. He says the dam is, the floods are destroying, so we need just to contain that water. You are aware, we did in Bunyala here, we invested 6 billion shillings to control the floods, and we are going to have another 10,000 acres of crop of rice if that project is complete. We should do the same here in Kisumu, make sure that we control the floods, do a proper dam. Hopefully we should be able to do the dam in Koru shortly, so that we can control the floods and have more access to water that we can use for irrigation, and to be able to double the productivity of our farmers. And it goes on for all the other sectors. We must remove the brokers. Huyo mzee amesema kitu mzuri sana. What we must do in agriculture is put money in supporting the farmers, seeds, fertilizer, water, extension service, as has been said here. We will increase their productivity. Where they are producing 1 ton, they can produce 3 tons, which means they earn more money. And when they produce 3 tons, where they are currently producing 1 ton, we should be able to take the food to the market at a cheaper price. We will begin the process of reducing the cost of living. Every opinion poll that is done in Kenya, problem number 1, every Kenyan is complaining, is the cost of living. Because 52% of everybody's earning is spent on food. If we can reduce it to 30%, we will have more money in everybody's pocket. Are we together? And that cannot happen unless we support the farmers. So this is the plan. Bottom up starts with creating jobs for these young people, supporting our mama mboga, boda, micro, small, medium enterprise people, supporting our farmers, making sure that we reduce the cost of living. It is the process of growing everybody from the bottom. And that is the plan that I am suggesting to you. Are we together? We will, of course, sort out NHIF, and we will begin the process of doing, changing our savings culture. Those ones I don't want to explain now because we will continue this engagement. So, mimi nimekuja hapa kuuliza nyinyi, watu wa Kisumu Dala. Tunaelewana? Nataka nyinyi tuelewane, tukubaliane na nyinyi. Mimi nataka niwaulize nyinyi mnaniambia ati priority ni kubadilisha katiba, ati tutengeneze sijui prime minister na assistant prime minister na deputy prime minister na vice prime minister. Hiyo ndio priority mnasema tufanye? Priority mimi ninasema priority ni agenda number 1. Hawa vijana, the millions of young people who today are all over the place with certificates, degrees, and diplomas, that must be our first priority. Tunaelewana? First priority. And let nobody tell you that what William Ruto is saying is not practical. For your information, I am the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya as I speak to you. I am not a madman, and I am not stupid. I know what I'm saying. Are we together? Mnataka kuniambia tumejenga reli, tumejenga hii barabara almost 10,000 kilometers, tumeunganisha stima watu 8,000,000, alafu hii kazi kidogo hii ya kutafutia hawa vijana kazi ndio itakuwa kazi ngumu kuliko ya kujenga reli? Hapana. No. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? And we have identified with professionals and technocrats nationally and internationally before we fashion the Big Four on the areas that we need to invest that will give us the jobs we are looking for. And it must be deliberate. You know, we cannot just say we are going to grow the economy, the jobs are going to come. No, we must be deliberate about which areas are we investing so that we can create the jobs. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I am asking you to vote for the plan. The plan is number 1, we must create the jobs and the opportunities for work for the millions of our young people as a priority. We must invest public resources in ensuring that every small enterprise has the resources, the environment for them to do their business, and the legal regime that protects their business as we provide the financial infrastructure for them to access credit that is not from predatory lenders. Bwana Philip, so tunakubaliana na mimi? Yes? Yeah. We must get rid of these predatory lenders because they are destroying our enterprises. Ni watu kupe, you know? Wananyonya damu ya watu. So we must get rid of them. So, and finally, we must do what is right. Lastly, good people, for us to achieve this, we must be united. We must work together. Unity is very important. Unity is very important. Today, as I speak to you here, the Hustlers Party called UDA right? Sindio? The Hustlers Party called UDA, we have 155 members of parliament, right? Majority of us came from Jubilee, some of us came from ODM, others came from Ford Kenya, others came from Kanu. We are 155 members of parliament, right? And I'm standing before you, the people of this Kisumu and Nyanza, that I want us to form the next government together. Are we together? Na nimekuja mchana mapema ndio tukubaliane tuunde hii serikali pamoja. Sawa sawa? Mimi nataka niwafanyie hesabu kidogo. UDA iko na wabunge 155 as we talk. We are followed by ODM with 70 MPs. We are followed by ile chama ya Kalonzo inaitwa nini? Na wabunge 20. Na ile chama ingine 14 nda chini. Wewe kwa hesabu yako. Na haitaji hesabu mingi, haitaji calculator. Wewe kwa maoni yako, chama gani ndio itaunda serikali next year? Sijui kama tunaelewana. So, na mimi, I have no quarrel with anybody. Mimi nataka hawa tunashindana na wao. Wakuje watuambie na wawaeleze how kubadilisha katiba itasaidia hawa vijana. How? You know, hii Kenya, I don't know what you're going to do. Tuko na shida kubwa sana. Kwa sababu wale wangekuwa ndio viongozi wanakuwa conmen. You know, wanasema things that are not there, that are unrealistic, and everybody is following. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Mimi naomba nyinyi. That's why I have come here. I have come and I have said why I am having this engagement in an environment like this is, as reasonable people, I want us to agree on a plan. And on this plan, I have said we must have the input of the ordinary people so that this plan is owned from the bottom going up. And that's why we are having this engagement. Are we together? Hakuna mtu tumetukana hapa, hakuna mtu tumezungumza mambo yake. Tumeongea vile tunaweza kupeleka taifa letu mbele as reasonable Kenyans. Are we together? The input you have given here, the input mumechangia katika hiyo plan. And I know we are running short of time. The input you have put in that plan, I have these professionals here. They will put it into our plan. And I am prepared to sign a charter with the people of Kisumu on the priorities you want. So that next year, as you go to vote, you are voting knowing very well what your government will do beginning day one. Sitaki mupige kura without knowing what you are voting for. Ama namna gani? Na mimi nataka niwaambie tafadhali. Politics is about interests. It is not about your relative, your friend, or the person you love. It's about interest. Are we together? You vote for your interests. And that's why I am saying, tuwache siasa hii ya kelele mingi. Mtu anakuja ria namna hii. Alafu unapiga kura mwisho nothing doing. Hapana. No. That ria thing, sijui tibi must stop. You know? Hapana. Haiwezi kuwa namna hiyo. People must know hii tunapiga kura ni nini. Sijui kama tunaelewana watu wa Kisumu dala. Si tunapiga kura so that we vote intelligently. We know what we are voting for, we have a plan, and all the other candidates should come and tell you their plan. Mtu asikuje tu na kelele ama namna gani? Tumeelewana? Bas. Yes, iko swali. Swalisha. Kuna mtu hapo wako na swali. Angelo jana mako hapa. Hapo endelea tu, iko sawa.
Halo? Tumekubali kufuata wewe baba. Na hiyo ndio sababu sisi Wajaluo tuko hapa. Na wewe pia utuahidi Wajaluo mimi mkinipea mtu kama Ereja Sembocha. Mtu kama Walo amekupigania usiku mchana, kuna mvua kuna jua, utampea nini kwa niaba ya Wajaluo? Sisi UDA kwa sababu baba umejua sisi Wajaluo tulikuwa katika nyororo ya ODM. Na sasa tumeamua kukufuata kama kijana wetu Suja ambaye anataka kutoa pesa mahali kuingiza kwa mfuko wetu. Wewe pia bwana lazima tuambie Wajaluo, nimekuja hapa bwana, niko na kijana yenu Walo hapa, niko na nani hapa, nitampea kitu fulani. Na tena nauliza, nimesikia safari yako imekuja Kisumu, inaenda Homa Bay. Je, Siaya huko kwetu, sisi tumetoka Siaya, utakuja lini? Sasa sisi tuko hapa vijana na mzee komanda kutoka Siaya. Tulikuja kwa sababu ya wewe. Mimi ni candidate kule Owiyo North kwa party yako. Tuko na MP hapa pia ya Rarieda constituency. Tuko na MCA hapa pia ya Uka Lego. Tumetoka huko kote baba kwa sababu ya wewe. Ukirudi Nairobi utufikirie. Asante sana.
Hii serikali, my good brother, your question is very good. Hii serikali tunaunda ni serikali ya Wakenya wote. Na we will sit down and agree and form an inclusive government. The most important thing is the plan we have. And Owalo has been part of the development of that plan with many other professionals like Ojuang here, like Machuki here. They've been part of this development of this plan, and they will have a role to play in the implementation of that plan. Tunaelewana, my friend? Lakini ya muhimu, ya muhimu ni kwamba inatubidi tuungane na tushirikiane. Sawa sawa? Kwa hivyo nikisema harambee tunasema UDA ama harambee. Bado haijasikika. Harambee. Unajua wale watu tunashindana na wao wako na kiburi mingi, hawasikii sauti ya chini. Harambee. Sasa wamesikia. Harambee. 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 Nikisema UDA tunasema kazi ni kazi. UDA. 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 Erokamano. Asante sana. Na mimi nawapenda sana. Just relax. Mimi nataka niseme asante. Kesho tutakuwa hapa Kisumu Dala. Wale niko hapa na wabunge. Niko na mbunge anaitwa Oscar Sudi, pigeni makofi. Niko na mbunge anaitwa Maisori Kitayama. Niko na mbunge anaitwa Mheshimiwa Robi wa kutoka Kuria. Niko na huyu anaitwa Oyugi, ni mbunge nusu, hajafika bunge lakini anahangaika hapa katikati. Na hawa wadosi wengine wote, we are members of one team. Na wale mahasla wengine wako hapo, watu wadosi, nimeshukuru sana. So mimi nataka niseme asanteni sana kwa kunisikiza, na watakia heri, na watakia baraka, na tuko pamoja katika mji huu wa Kisumu. Thank you very much. God bless you guys. Asante.